Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Hershman. I'm founder of Origination Pro Mortgage School, and today's webinar is called Business Planning 2019. Another year, more change in store. I've been in the business over 35 years. Of course, I started when I was 12, and the one constant in this industry is change. Quick introduction to myself. Uh, Again, I've been in the industry over 30 years. Among other things that makes me old, I produced almost 600 transactions my first 18 months in the industry, including closing 60 in my 12th month. I've run sales forces for large production organizations, directed the sales force for Ellie Mae, published 7 books in the areas of finance, management, sales, and marketing, plus hundreds of articles. Director and founder of a federally chartered bank, held national mortgage management conferences, and have been a keynote speaker at hundreds of industry events. Our website is originationpro.com. I have something else to add. I just joined Weichert Financial Services, running production in the Mid-Atlantic region. So something else to add to the long-term resume. Our goals today. We're going to have a brief legislative market update. We're going to take a brief glimpse at the future. We're going to talk about why planning is important today. And the main goal today, and you're going to hear this again and again, is about change. It's about doing, not just about planning. There'll be an evaluation phase, a goal phase, segmenting goals, and then implementation obstacles. The planning form will be made available. I have one planning form for loan officers and one planning form for realtors. So you can email us at success@hershmangroup.com or dave@hershmangroup.com, and we will send you the planning form. At the end of the webinar, we have a lot to go over, but I'm going to leave some minutes for coaching on any topics. It could be on the markets, it could be on planning, it could be a sales or management question of any kind. We will cover it at the end of the webinar. So let's start with a quick industry update. The biggest news coming into the year is unexpected lower interest rates, and expected that the Fed will not raise short-term rates again in January, and perhaps not in March as well. So that's good news. More people can afford homes when rates go down, and they certainly have. Along with that, we've had a very volatile stock market and volatile oil prices as well. The best I can describe it is the markets have been jittery, to say the least. Higher loan limits have been announced, and also we have a flyer in our system with the new limits. So those of you who are subscribers, you can reach that in our system so you can get it out to your referral sources. And of course, the other big news is the government shutdown, which is the longest in history. It is interrupting many things across the country. For example, USDA closings, I am told, are halted. This could affect the economy and interest rates in the long run. I also like to welcome our Origination Pro Marketing System trial members and Origination Pro Mortgage School students. Trial members to our system get full access for 14 days. We will not be going over our system today because we have so much information to go over. I don't like doing sales presentations during our webinars. If you are interested in what we do, you can go to the Origination Pro website. We have Origination Pro, Realtor Pro, and Financial Pro. And I would like to announce that we just released our new upgraded websites. We're very proud of it. We'd like you to take a look. And we've also released a whole series of what we call micro courses in addition to our major courses in the industry as well. Those are all online. Okay, let's get right to our topic today, which is Business Planning 2019. I see several have just logged in. Again, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Dave Hershman. Today is being recorded, so if you miss part of it, you'll be able to get the recording of it. Um, and you will be muted out. You can also ask questions, make comments using the panel on your screen. Applicability. Today's program applies to anyone in business. Loan officers, realtors, financial planners. My examples are going to come from origination and real estate, but the concepts will apply to everything. I do want to say this. This is a program that's not about planning, but it's doing. The exercise is not sexy. It's about rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty. If you're looking for a shortcut for success, and I know there are many marketing people and training people that say they've got a magic bullet, you're not going to find it here. In New York terms, forget about it. We're here to do it the right way by building a foundation. Let's talk a little bit about where we've been and where we're going. Understand that the market has always witnessed major changes. The two biggest cycles we witnessed in the past decade were the sharpest ever, the real estate boom and the financial crisis and recession. The latest cycle, the real estate recovery, is longer, and it's actually starting to get old and slowing down. The biggest constraints we face today, lack of inventory, cash for down payments, and now affordability caused by higher prices and higher interest rates. Though again, rates have come down a bit since the beginning of the year, or I say since late last year. Easier credit has helped, and I expect as volume goes down, more options to come out as well, and that is good news. But you're not going to see the wild cowboy days of the real estate boom. The key to the future? Well, let me just I'm not going to read this whole thing, but let me give you some numbers. The MBA projects approximately 15 million additional households are going to be formed from the period 2015 2024. That's approximately a million per year. That means housing demand is going to be strong. We need places for them to live. And even if they rent single family houses, well, guess what? That is demand as well. The surge will be driven by Hispanics, baby boomers, and millennials, and now Generation Z. In regard to baby boomers, they're going to be downsizing finally soon. My question to you is, are you ready for what we're facing in the future? Because this is a lot of growth. It may not be growth that you're used to based upon the demographics. What is it going to be for you to succeed in the future? Leadership, confidence. Not only confidence for you, but confidence to lead others. We need leaders now, not skeptics. The ability to adapt to change. For example, last year, the tax changes where the interest and property tax deductions were changed. The public, especially millennials and the media, is not 100% behind home ownership for the first time in history. That means you need to be 150% behind the concept. And that's the right thing. Boomerang buyers, those foreclosed upon, will be buying again. They're already buying again. They're qualified to buy again. You need to instill a positive attitude to your prospects. Why is today's topic so important? Never before has planning been so important because of all these changes in the industry. You have seen markets and policies can turn on a dime. You must have a very flexible business model so that you are the one leading and not the one left behind. If you just roll with the punches, that can leave you exhausted and you're not moving forward. At best, you're moving side to side. There are opportunities which are very unique today. For example, the growth of Hispanics. But you can only take advantage if you have a plan, the goals, and the tools in place to make it happen. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Today is going to be all about goals. Today, we're going to look at long-term goals, or what is important in your life, medium-term goals, or your annual goals, including an evaluation of how you did last year. And then we're going to talk about short-term goals, which encompasses the actions that will lead you to your long-term goals. That will include a segmentation of your plan. So, if we're going to talk about goal planning, we need to set out some rules that are going to help you become successful when you are goal planning. Here are my rules. They need to be realistic. If you made $20,000 last year, unless there's something that has happened that we don't know about, you're not making $200,000 this year. They need to be realistic, but they also need to be significant. In other words, they need to make you stretch. So actually, goal planning is a balancing act. You don't want to plan something you can't reach, but you also do want to reach. They need to be finite or limited. When you go through a program today, I guarantee you're going to think of at least 20 or 30 goals you should be setting. I'm going to ask you to limit it, because if you try to do too many things, you will never get anything done. They need to be measurable, which means specific. A goal can't be, I'm going to be a better real estate agent. How do you define being better? It needs to be public. You need to make a psychological commitment, and you need to implement immediately, but one step at a time. Not used to planning? Try baby steps. I say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay, again, we still have people signing in. I want to let them know that this is Dave Hershman. This is Business Planning 2019. You are muted out, but you can make comments and ask questions, and we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar. And for the last 5 minutes, hopefully. So please feel free to participate using the panel on your screen. So let's start with the first step. What is important? What is important in your life? Too many times we go into life worried about the next check, and we ignore the big picture. We tend to completely ignore in very important areas in our life, especially when things get tough. If you're having a hard time making a living, that's all you're focused on. My primary example always is your health. Or let me put it another way. Making money is not important if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it. So I put a few things down there just for you to noodle on a little bit. Exercise regularly. Stop drinking in excess. I'm not going to define excess for you. Sorry about that. Stop smoking cigarettes. I don't think there's any level that's good for that. Get off the caffeine and see your doctor once in a while. To me, it absolutely boggles my mind. Someone who would spend hundreds of dollars per month on coffee, booze, and or cigarettes, but can't afford to fund their retirement plan or invest in their business or join a gym. Or on the other side of the equation, buys the gym membership, but doesn't invest the time to go there. These are the kind of choices we need to make going into 2019. We're already in it. What else is important in your life? Stress kills, and tougher times increases stress levels. In this day and age, we're always connected to work. Crackberry syndrome. I was driving from New Jersey last night on the phone, texting, not texting while driving, by the way, but only it's, when I was pulled over. Um, but my question is this what saving time is all about? What do you do to lower stress? My leisure activities, golf, exercise, playing guitar, and by the way, all of them pretty badly. Take walks with my wife. We like to watch movies. What are your leisure activities? If you can't answer the question that I just asked, there's a problem there. Perhaps you need to spend 15 minutes each day decompressing without your cell phone. Imagine that. No cell phone, 15 minutes. Spending time with your family. My wife and I have reached that age that older family members are going, and younger ones, kids don't need us anymore. Let me tell you something. No one dies and says, I should have spent more time working. And I'm probably the one most guilty of that. What's important from a financial perspective? Moving towards financial security. Everyone wants to make more money, but the key is what the money is for. Is your retirement plan funded? What about long-term needs such as college for kids, long-term care, and life insurance? What interim steps do you need to make these long-term things happen? For example, increasing your own credit score and paying off debts. Do you have a will? Do you have a financial planner? It's kind of funny, when I coach loan officers and realtors, they should have relationships with financial planners so that they can get more business, because that's a great referral source. But so many mortgage and real estate planners do not have plans for themselves. So my question is, how can they lead others? I just got a note on here that sound is out for somebody, but I only see one person, and so I'm going to put a little note in there. And again, usually if it's one person, it's on your line. But I want to make sure always I'm looking at the uh, panel, which is why sometimes you hear me hesitating and fumbling, because I don't do it very well. But I want to make sure that everybody's got it. And I've got other people telling me they've got sound. Thank you very much. What is important in your career? Is your career rewarding? Are you helping enough people financially? Are you helping them achieve the American dream, or helping people develop a career helping others? That's what I've been doing my whole career. Are you where you want to be? Are you a manager or you're a leader? Are you a realtor or a loan officer or you're an expert? Do you enjoy what you do? What would make it more enjoyable? I always ask everybody to stop for a second and see the difference between short-term factors we see, like title problems and septic issues and so forth, that make this industry not enjoyable, and look at the big picture, because we do something that's really important in this industry, and that's why there's more stress. If we were selling light bulbs, there wouldn't be much stress, because if we don't deliver the light bulbs, they'll get them somewhere else. But selling houses, financing houses is really, really important. And it's, a stressful process because it's important. So we finished the first section, the first set of goals, the big picture. We are going to drill down. What I put on this slide is the keys to goals planning, which I'm not going to repeat, so I'm going to come back to them lots. But I'm going to ask you, based upon what I said so far, are there a few things you want to put down as a goal for 2019? And notice I didn't put many blanks there because I don't want you to put many goals. Now, by the way, if you get the planning form, we have blanks for all of this stuff and more. Planning form is more extensive. So when you get that, you'll be able to do it. But take notes for now. And by the way, don't forget that the point about making a commitment, a psychological commitment by making it public. The more people know, the more you will be committed. So therefore, by the way, I would like to see some of these goals in the panel. You know, I won't read your last name or anything like that, but put them in the panel, and I know that people are listening and making some goals. So feel free to do that. Okay, let's go to the second stage. The evaluation phase leads to our mid-range or our annual goals. That's where the goal planning usually is done. You can see I come about it a little differently. I don't care, you know, if you have annual goals, I need to know where that's going to lead you. So what is the evaluation phase? Well, it's this. You can't change if you don't know what you're doing now and what is working and what's not. I mean, everybody's doing good things, and we want to enhance these. And everybody's doing things that are not so productive. We want to minimize those things. So, in your mind now and in your notes, I want you to just list your 3 most productive either activities or relationships. Just 3. And also your 3 least productive activities, relationships. And I want you to think, how are you going to add to these or eliminate some of these or enhance some of these or minimize some of these? Those are the 4 things you can do with the things you're already doing. So you're going to see AEEM a lot on the planning form because I want you to pick one of those things. If you have a great relationship, can you make it better? Let's enhance that. If you have a less productive relationship, let's minimize it or eliminate it. Here's a rule for you, and it's the only thing I guarantee in this seminar. If you don't change what you're doing, you won't change absolutely your results. And again, remember, make the goals specific. So let's look at the results of last year. What was your income goal last year? And what did you actually make last year? If you achieve your goals, congratulations, assuming they were stretch goals. If you did not achieve your goals, I want you to think of 3 reasons why it didn't happen, and only 1 external factor is allowed. Let me explain the factors. External factor is something you don't control, like the economy or interest rates or inventory. Can't control those things. Event factor is something that happened. If you got sick for 9 months, I hope that didn't happen, but that certainly would affect you achieving your goals. So there could have been an event. And then, or maybe you went from part-time to full-time in real estate. That's an event too. That would have helped your goals. Internal factor would be something that you didn't do which you should have done. Maybe you didn't work hard enough. Maybe you didn't have a good enough attitude, whatever it is. Now, I'm going to call these, for lack of a better word, excuses. And we're going to do a very, very interesting exercise right now. Very interesting. And I'll tell you why it's interesting. Because I'm going to do, it's hypothetical. And if I could do this for real, I would, but I don't have the magic. If you had a do-over, that's Brooklyn language, by the way, do-over, what would you have changed about what you did about these factors in the past year? In other words, if you knew interest rates were going to do what they did, what would you have done about it differently? Or even your internal factor. And the reason why I do this is this gives us a great hint about the future, because often stuff you didn't do last year or you should have done this year, you should do this year. I mean, how many of you made a list last year and then didn't get everything done on your list? Well, this is not just a carryover. This is more specific, but it's the same concept. This exercise, by the way, is going to lead to the number of transactions and your income goals for the year. But I just want you to think about this for a moment. Take a deep breath. Think about it. What happened last year? What would you have done differently if I could repeat the year for you? Just gives us a hint about the future. I'm getting a few goals in. That's good. I want to see more goals from you guys. Now, speaking of yearly goals, again, you need to be specific and not just income and transactions. How many leads will you get from each referral source? What will your conversion percentage be? What will your fallout rate be? Later, we're going to go directly into your business segments as well. But you've got to be specific. And again, when you see our planning form, you're going to see a lot of specificity there. That's a lot of syllables, actually. I don't usually do that many syllables when I public speak. So let's take your yearly goals. Income, what did you make last year? What do you make this year? Again, they got to be reachable, but stretch. What do you need to do to make it happen? Transactions. How many did you do? How many do you need to do? What do you need to do it? How many leads do you need? What do you need your conversion percentage to be? And what do you need your fallout percentage to be? Think for a moment. While we're doing that, I want to remind everybody, we will be answering questions at the end of the webinar. We will be answering questions at the end of the webinar. Okay, let's get to our third stage, getting down to specifics. I'm going to call that the segmentation stage. You'll understand why in a moment. What we're doing is we're drilling down from our long-term goals to our annual goals to the specific goals that will make a difference in our lives this year. It's more than just how much I'm going to make or I'll do this many transactions. It's absolutely imperative that you know what's going to support the achievement of the goals. We're going to divide the goals into segments to consider, and the sum of the achievement of the segments will greatly enhance our ability to achieve the goals we want to achieve. So let's start with segment 1, the mirror. Why do I start with the mirror? Because it's the most important sales tool you'll ever have. Why is the mirror the most important sales tool? Well, it's this. If you don't improve yourself, you will not improve your results. Everyone on the line today is good at something and not so good at other things. We need to work on our weaknesses, and we need to enhance or emphasize our strengths. The most popular, the largest training in the world is Alcoholics Anonymous, which, by the way, is not a subsidiary of the Mortgage Bankers Association and National Association of Realtors. There's no truth to that humor. I don't know, jokes don't work in webinars. I can't hear anybody laughing, but that's okay. Step 1, everybody's heard it, is you have to admit that you are an alcoholic. If you don't do that, you won't get better. That's why I have a red, because I'm not going to go through every one of these today. I don't have time, but they're all important. Internal honesty is the most important of all, because internal honesty says, are you honest with yourself? Do you see yourself in the mirror? If you have a bad attitude, do you know that, and are you willing to fix it? If you don't know it, you can't fix it. That's why it's so important. Communication. I also made that red. Just things I like to pick out. Um, Communication, public speaking. Maybe your goal is to become a better public speaker. You want to know how I got 600 deals my first 18 months in the industry? Well, public speaking was one of my specialties. I could put a group together and inspire them. That helps. It really does. Doesn't mean it's for everyone. You got lots of choices here. One-on-one communication is just as important. Some of the stuff is mundane. Follow up. Oh, yeah, you all know you're supposed to follow up. Yet consumers out there say their biggest complaint with service people in America is lack of follow up. Here's the most important point here, aside from realization of what you need to improve. You can't do it all. I don't want anybody trying to fill in what I need to do for every one of these things. Pick one, two things you can work on that will make a difference. You can't do them all. You can't do them all. And again, remember, um, this is part of the planning form. So don't worry about the fact that you can't fill in your screen today. It's not meant for you to start filling in all these things. But do take some notes. Do take some notes. You'll get the recording. A lot of people listening to this seminar 2 and 3 times, believe it or not, because we've got so much stuff in there. I want to talk about 2 things that just are examples. I had them in purple. Opportunity, the transaction. Traditional goal planning says, I want to do this many transactions. To me, goal planning should be, each transaction will lead to this. Don't miss the opportunity to provide great customer service, to remove stress from your customers' lives, to distinguish yourself from the competition, and to generate a lifetime of referrals by leveraging. Each transaction has its own sphere. And my question is, do you focus on that picture? For example, for a realtor, a listing should be a lead machine. That's why top producers are typically listers. Well, also because you can't drive 20 people around in a weekend, but you can manage 20 listings. Investment is very important as well. There are 3 things you must invest in order to succeed: money, time, and energy. Consider yourself as a business owner. Imagine you're opening a retail store. How much money would you invest? How much time would you spend? How much energy would you expend? If you think of your job as a business, what are you willing to invest in your business? And make sure you invest wisely. Start by investing the time to take this planning exercise seriously. Got to tell you something. People invest 80 hours, 100 hours a week, hundreds of thousands in a store, and some of them don't make near as much as some of the loan officers and realtors I have coached through the years. Number 2, segmenting services. We have an originator slide and a realtor slide. What I did is I divided up all the services you can provide, and because I ran out of room, I put another on the bottom if I miss one. The ones that are in red are there because they should encompass about 100% of your business. Yet you may want to change the mix. If you want to do more purchases this year, then that becomes part of your goal. Again, remember the law of infinity. You can't emphasize all of these things. You know, you might decide, hey, I want to service more VA. I want to service more military this year. That's fine. And you could connect that to something else. Maybe more VA people, most VA people that you're serving are first-time buyers. They should be connected. That's synergy. And by the way, that's a different seminar that I do. So what's your rating now? What's your rating goal? But again, remember, you're not emphasizing them all. That's not what this is about. This is not trying to do everything, even though I listed everything. Same thing with an agent. 100% should be listing and purchases, unless you're doing, mainly rentals or something like that. And therefore, you might want to change your percentage of listings versus purchases. That might be your only goal this year. All the rest of it, well, if you want to do more purchases this year, maybe you want to deal with more investors, more military. Again, same thing applies. The law of infinity here. The law of infinity here. We're getting a lot of comments. That's good. That's good. Segment business sources. Where is your business coming from? How much is coming from referral? How much is coming from marketing, like advertising? And how much is cold calling? Your goal might be to get more referrals. For most people, I advise your goal to get more referrals. They're cheaper, they're higher quality, and top producers get their business by referral. And some referrals are for previous customers, some are business to business, like financial planners and so forth. What percentage of that is of your income, and what's your goal, and what do you need to do to make that change? And just to get more specific on it, on the bottom of this screen, I talked about your 3 top referral sources. What, get specific, and what can you do to enhance them? And 3 referral sources that you would like to add or strengthen. Get specific. Write down 3 names. And as I do with each of these, I remind you, there's 3 blanks only. There's not 30 blanks, because we are recognizing the law of infinity. Segmenting actions. You will not improve your business without improving your marketing. 3 to 5 marketing actions you take right now on a regular basis, and how much of your income comes from those actions. If it's 0, maybe you need to eliminate them, one of those E's. And of course, I've got on the bottom your ability to eliminate or add actions here. For example, maybe you were doing first-time home buyer seminars this year, and maybe you're not getting anything out of them. You either need to enhance them, change them, or eliminate them. Don't keep doing them if you're not getting results. True definition of insanity is doing the same thing and again and not getting, and expecting different results. You've got to be specific here. If you're going to do something, how often you're going to do it? How many you're going to send out? How many times you're going to do it? Then we get the big problem. Let me ask you guys a question. How many times have you done planning at the beginning of the year? Your boss gave you a form, you filled in your goals, right? Probably didn't get as specific as I was getting here, but still you did it, and then it never happened. Because if you don't implement, it's not going to happen. One thing to set goals, quite another to implement them. With that plan, you need to be specific. Where, when, how often. You must be realistic. Put in plan in writing, which is why we provide you a planning form. And by the way, we have 1 form for loan officers, 1 form for realtors. Announce the plan and make sure everyone knows your plan, because the psychological commitment is important. And by the way, if they know your plan, they can help you. people don't know what you need, they can't help you. And implement immediately, even if it's 10 minutes a day. If you don't spend, a day doing this at the beginning or the end of the year, what's your chances that your results are going to change? Not much, I think. I gave you an example. I love this is my favorite example. Top producers get their business by referral. Referrals come from their sphere, so we need to focus on our sphere. So I look at expanding people's sphere and then prioritizing and delivering value. It's a very simple business model. Identify your sphere, expand your sphere, prioritize your sphere, deliver value to your sphere. If you've got 12,000 in your sphere, you're going to do a whole lot better than if you've got 100 in your sphere. And again, a little bit every day. 5 added to your sphere every day, 3 going back because you've left more off your sphere than you have moving forward. And 2 moving forward, in 10 years, you can have 12,000 in your sphere. And that's just business days, by the way, because I'm doing even numbers here. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys have been in business 10 years? And how many of you guys have a sphere of 12,000? Think about that. Let me make it even simpler. Here's your categories of the sphere. And I will be doing a sphere marketing webinar. Maybe I'll do that one next month. I'm not sure yet. If you want that one, let me know. It's really simple. This is what makes up your sphere. And this is your business model. Move people into the sphere and move them up in priority. Prioritization is one of the keys to effectiveness. Or let me put it another way. Ineffective people spend time on menial tasks. Effective people spend time with priorities. You can't have lunch with 12,000 people. So when you have lunch, you're making a priority decision. Here's another example of implementation, delivering seminars. What's the target? First-time homebuyers. Let's make it better. Let's give it a better name. How to purchase a home using someone else's money. Overcoming credit obstacles to purchase a home. 10 people in your town are giving first-time homebuyers. Now you've differentiated. Yours is different. Who will be your partners? Let me give you a hint. Most effective would be a government agency or nonprofit. People will come to see them. How often will you deliver them? What specific target are you focusing upon? Where will they be held? Hint, the best place is at a large employer. Built-in attendance, especially if you bring pizza. What's the marketing plan? What's the goal of the seminar? If you're a realtor, those who are subscribers have materials to help in the first-time buyer marketing kit we have, which includes first-time home buyer seminar and marketing materials as well. Implementation obstacles. We're right on time, by the way. We'll have time for questions and comments. I just get pulled into the fires every day. How can I implement them? This is the biggest challenge you're going to face, how to focus. Let me give you a few keys that will hopefully help you. Drill down to a daily plan with action goals for every day. You must have a daily list. Do it every night before you go to sleep or every morning before you get into the office. Make adjustments. The next day, if you don't get things done, don't wait a week or a month and just roll everything over. Daily adjustments. Do a little every day to accomplish a lot. Be strong enough to say the word no. The day-to-day fires are louder, but are they more important? Delegate. What are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? Are you typing in your database? Hire somebody. Are you writing newsletters? I do that. You can use ours. Are you personally doing credit repair? You should be talking to prospects, building your sphere. How about teaming up with a buddy? I love buddy systems somebody who can help you, inspire you, and you can inspire each other. Make it fun. Have a contest. Reward yourself. Use synergy. You have a relationship with the builder? What about everybody who comes on the site and buys somewhere else? I have I have loan officers and realtors who are handling have relationship with builders, and they're buying leads. And all those build leads that buy somewhere else are just gone. That's synergy. That's synergy. So I look forward to some of your comments, and I've already gotten some comments on the webinar, and I appreciate those. Even if there's something you didn't like about it, let's talk about it. What is your goal? What is important? I'm talking about health, finances, the important things here. What present activities do you need to add, eliminate, enhance, or minimize? The mirror phase. What do you need to change about yourself? Told you there was going to be a lot of items here. Services. What do I need to enhance or focus on with regard to my services? Listing, purchase, refi, business sources. What do I need to enhance or, again, eliminate some of them or add business sources, referral sources? And what actions do I need to take next year? And what implementation obstacles do I need to overcome? Again, the goal sheet will be made available. Hopefully you saw enough today that you said to yourself, hey, I want to get a hold of this goal sheet. We're not charging for it. This is my service to the industry. I'm going to help you do more. And, if you look at our stuff, then that's a good thing as well. So, I'm going to leave that up for another moment or two. Then I'm going to get into our summaries. Look at how much we did today, just in basically 50 minutes. So I'd have time for questions and so forth. So let's take a look at what we've got here. I'm going to go ahead and stop.